Common Dreads.
Common Dreads.
It's not really a song, it's more of, what would you call it, a poem?
Spoken word piece that I wrote towards the end of last year.
The main chunk of it is said by my dad and Chris's granddad.
And then more and more people join.
There's a part done by like my niece, he's like only 4, and then Chris's little brother. Sent an email out to our mailing list asking people to send in audio clips of them saying we must unite in whatever language they could speak.
And we couldn't really tell whether they're saying it right or not, you know, they could be saying suck my balls. And we wouldn't, and we wouldn't know because it's in a different language.
It's a poem that introduces
the themes of the album, isn't it?
Yeah.
We wrote it just to be the intro, really.
A song about sort of celebration almost of human will and strength, and when people unite for a common cause. Again, it sort of sets the scene for the album, introduces the main sort of themes, which are climate change and the possibility of catastrophic climate change, and then wars, and then modern day imperialism.
There's a bit in the middle which is the first time we ever sort of tried to sort of play some like live dubstep. It's got the big choir outro at the end as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to be coming back from Billy Elliot musical going, oh guys, we've got to do this kind of rolling, whatever it was you called it. Yeah, this is a song Roughton wrote about fair trade. The first one we had properly written, and the first one that we played live. It's pretty much the most like straight up hardcore track. We played it in Milton Keynes. It went terribly. It's got a cool little electro breakdown in the middle.
Basically about trying not to be ignorant about things.
If our own lives aren't directly affected,
then it don't need to be corrected, which is the kind of way most people in the West go about things. Basically trying to take a bit of responsibility for how we're fucking up the world.
Juggalos was pretty much written in the studio, wasn't it? Andy, the producer, wanted to record the drums for it the following morning. So we were like, oh well, we better write it. Lots of people have been saying about how it sounds like Mike Skinner, which I think is annoying around a little bit. 2 in the morning we were sitting there just like busting through, trying to work out the structure, work out each bit. And then Rob went and recorded the drums for it the next morning. I think it's just ignorance, really. Because there's so many spoken word people out there, and like, just because Roughton's got a similar accent, people just immediately make that comparison.
Juggernauts, I guess it's just addressing the theme of corporate power and the brute force that they have, and the ability they have to be able to do literally anything they want. I'm gonna paste you up, cover you in wallpaper, screw shells into you and call you
Wall is probably definitely the most metaphorical of all of your lyrics on this album.
It's about the modern day, almost Big Brother. It's like after reading books like 1984 and Brave New World and seeing it, parts of it sort of come to life. It just uses the concept of calling someone a wall, trying to keep everyone penned in.
It's the closest to a straight up drum and bass track on the album.
I'm going to paste you up, cover you in wallpaper,
screw shells into
you and call you a wall. You can have skirting board shoes and plug sockets on your knees. And then it just goes on and on. It gets more stupid.
Roughton originally made just a drum and bass track, and we were like, yeah, this would work great as an album track. So, you know, we sort of converted it into a full band track. I remember when I first read those lyrics, I'm like, how the hell is this going to work? Actually ended up coming up to be my favourite lyrics in the whole album. It's quite different than the rest of the stuff.
My favourite track on the album.
Zzzorked and No Sleep Tonight were originally the same track, but then we basically
got a saw in the thing.
Yeah.
When it was all together, there was another beat in it. Then Andy was just sort of messing around and half-timed it. Oh, that sounds so good.
Lyrically, fuck knows. I remember writing it before the music, sitting in my bunk on tour and just being so sleep deprived. Mate, I'm zonked, absolutely spent. I think I'm going to give up my eyes for Lent because my eyes were so heavy.
Even the guitar over that bit, I literally just made the craziest sounds I could, like just taking the lead out of the guitar and like, you know, putting it in in my eye and stuff, just trying to make these stupid noises.
Again, there's a bit of a drum and bass influence. It's got a very jump up sound to it.
Kind of figured that it's such a mental, hectic song that the only way for it really to go out in style is just completely end up as a puddle of melted crap on the floor.
The lions are at the door.
There's two Havocs, Havoc A and Havoc B.
They're basically the interludes that we've adapted and pushed further.
It was really hard trying to work out a guitar part for this track because dubstep's such a minimal genre of music. Anything you put on it just sounded a bit too messy.
Lions at the door, the lions being the people, and at the door as the door of authority, and basically, you know,
knocking it down.
Yeah, we ain't taking order from snakes no more, which is the
man.
Yeah,
the man.
I think it's one of my favourite melodies. Heart-wrenching singing it, but also kind of fun.
This is really uplifting, nice thing.
It's the first tune that we've ever had a key change.
Cheesy. It's quality cheese. It's very good quality cheese.
We've been trying to squeeze in a cheesy key change into one of our tunes for ages so that we can get stills, like get those high stills, and when we play the key change, we can get...
It's one of the favourite moments on the album, just when that drops. It's just like...
It's also got some really nice brass as well that we're out and recorded.
It's about conscience, learning about oil companies and sort of big companies like that, only thinking of short-term profit. Basically paying scientists to speak out and say that, you know, climate change is rubbish, it's not actually happening, it's not our fault, we should carry on as we are. Learning about those companies doing that and how they sort of sleep at night is, you know, baffles me.
It starts off as kind of like one of the slower points in the album. Like the first half is kind of like, you know, the first like breath of fresh air. It certainly takes a change halfway through from going from a ballad into a full-on like house dance beat, and then ends with some like
big uplifting rock. Yes.
Yeah. Generally, it's just subservience, people living and just grasping everything as normal, taking everything at face value, and just that's the way it is. Not being able to sort of think how things could be different. And when people start speaking out and say how they could be different, they usually get branded as a nutter. No one listens.
I actually like stole an idea from Radiohead for the outro. they do the old creeping and a yeah, so look out for that.
Contains the heaviest I'd say of the album.
It really is heavy.
Beat down, if there's such a thing.
Because we just invented it. It's quite similar to Havoc A, but a bit more sort of developed, and then like at the end it goes into like a dubstep beatdown. It was sounding really heavy, and then Rory came in and put his guitar over, and it was just a chug, chug, chug. It was like, oh, damn, it's so good.
Again, just about community, unity. There's a little sample from a anti-war protest at the end.
All this killing is obscene. Shut down the war machine. First started in that taxi ride in Antwerp. Yeah.
It's one of them ones. It doesn't have a repeating chorus and verse. It starts off with the one bit and completely turns over and meant something completely else.
The old taxi driver gave us basically a short history of how the city came to have its name.
Years ago, back in, before time began, or whatever, there's a river going through, the River Scheldt. There was a big
giant that used to charge a toll for people that wanted to cross the river, and then if they couldn't pay the toll, he'd chop their hand off. And then one day a Roman soldier came along, I can't remember what it was called, Silvius Bravo,
chopped his hand off and threw it in the river. The word Antwerpen's in two parts. It literally means like hand throw, so throw hand.
So it's just a nice metaphor for positive aggression, taking down the giants.
This is a bit of a weird one. It started off as that simple flute riff, didn't it?
Yeah, just added more and more to it to make it sound like an old jazz record, basically. A lot of people think we sampled it.
Kind of the result of lots of late nights drinking whiskey and jamming.
Andy Gray had an old sort of beat up almost honky-tonk style piano in the corner of his studio that never really got used. So
It's all out of tune and
perfect, yeah, horribly out of tune, but it worked really well.
Yeah, that was the beginning and the end of it. And then in the middle, it turns up on its head, like many of our songs on this album do.
It's basically about roasting people we don't like. It's just about cannibalism, basically.
it's kind of a release from all the this political side of things off this album. It's the only kind of real actual interlude.
We thought we needed at least a minute of chilling out, bringing it down. It's just a very picturesque, very vast sounding soundscape.
It was snowing at the time actually, and I think it's definitely reflected in the sound of this tune. It's basically just an intro for the next song, which is Hectic.
Hectic's basically all about days that were perceived as perfect in the past, not caring when you're out drinking in the park with your mates and stuff.
Not caring the world.
Yeah, good times and nostalgia and stuff.
Hectic actually has a riff which we used to use as a live interlude.
Kind of dancey, ravey, fun.
Used to use like round space on like drum and bass, tuned on as electrode, and we just basically used to play that in between songs. But we really liked it, so we thought we'd turn it into a full band tune. It really. That's the way we go down.
It's the way we roll.
Fanfare's actually probably my favourite song off the whole album now.
Well, it started off, it was just going to be, there wasn't going to be that much in it. It was a really slow track. But then, the more we got playing around with the track and the more we were adding, the more it seemed like a good idea to actually turn it into a proper song with choruses and verses.
A last minute outpouring of frustration with the last few years. It just basically lays into Blair and Brown.
It's a really good finisher for the album because it's quite uplifting, you feel like you've been through a lot. You come out the other end and it's like, okay, we're all together, we can do this.
Rob enjoyed playing that one, or recording that one, because he got to play a gong and he got to fire a cannon.
And that's our album.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more exciting than we've made it sound.
Yeah. But we want to get your reactions from it.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for it to get released and then see what you guys think of it. I hope you like it.